It's 8 o'clock. Hello, everybody on Zoom. Hello for those who are watching on Facebook Live and those who are watching on Hoova. You're the future people from our point of view. And those who are watching on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/fiddlehell, all kinds of great stuff on there. So we have, yet again, an absolute wonderful set of instructors who are previewing what they're going to be teaching, what their sessions are at Fiddle Hell, which is coming up in just 11 days. Can you believe it? So tell all your friends about it. Let them sign up. They can join us live for 4 days and then 4 whole months of replays. 35 concerts, 35 jams, 175 workshops for fiddle, mandolin, guitar, old-time banjo, cello, and a bit of singing in there. So, if you have questions about Fiddle Hell, yeah, you could call me up, but also check out fiddlehell.org. The online menu has a Q&A that answers all of your questions, so take a look there. That'll answer questions like, how do you log on to Hoova and get going? How do you attend a workshop or a jam or a concert at Fiddle Hell? So please tell your musical friends, check out the QA. And if you thought I was going to announce today who won the inlaid fiddle, I'm not. But we will announce that at the Saturday night concert at Fiddle Hell. You don't have to be there to win. So, without further ado, I'm going to take you to the first of our instructors. This is Betsy Branch, a fiddle player. I would kind of peg her as Northwestern Contra fiddling, twin fiddling, and really with Contra fiddling, you're combining a bunch of styles. So, Betsy, let me turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Dave. Like he said, I'm Betsy Branch. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and this is my first time to do Fiddle Hell. So thanks for asking me, Dave. This is great. I'm going to be doing 4 sessions this year at Fiddle Hell. One of them is to teach some of the music composed by my longtime friend and musical colleague, David Reiner, who just died this year. And so one of my sessions will be presenting a few of his tunes. My friend Sue Songer, who also worked a lot with David Reiner, has just completed a book which she worked on with David. It's called, I'll show it here. It's called Living Music and Dance. And it does have all of David's musical compositions as well as all of his dances and a lot of information and remembrances about him. So in that vein, I'm just going to play you a tune that David wrote in 1981. This is a tune that lots and lots of people play in the contra dance scene. And David was especially fond of dorky jigs. And so this definitely represents the dorky jig category. It's called Richard's Jig. And here's how it goes. So David and I did a lot of twin fiddling together. We collaborated at Fiddle Tunes, Northwest Folklife Festival, John C. Campbell Folk School, and we made this twin fiddle CD. It's called Midnight in Montague, and it was a really, really fun project to work on. I'll get a close-up, twin fiddles. So I'm especially fond of twin fiddles. Another one of my favorite twin fiddling partners actually is going to work with me at Fiddle Hell, George Pink, who is another Portland fiddler. And George and I have been playing together off and on since the 90s, and I'm really excited to be doing this George. And we'll talk about, you know, how to play great twin fiddles together. Again, it's one of my favorite things to do, and I think there's almost nothing better than the sound of two fiddles together. The other workshops that I'm going to be doing, actually one concert and one jam. The concert will be with Sue Songer and George Pank. Sue Songer is she has been the creator of the Portland Collection music products, and there are 3 books and 3 CDs, and these have been around since 1997. They're really fantastic resources for country dance musicians. And when the first book was made, I did not live in Portland, but when we moved here to Portland, I got to be a part of the second and third books and one of the CDs. And so it's been really wonderful to work with Sue over the years. So we'll be doing a jam of tunes from the Portland Collection, and we'll also be doing a concert with the 3 of us. So I just want to finish off here tonight with a tune that, the way that the Portland Collection works is that Sue picks tunes that Portland area musicians play at country dances. And so this is a tune that's in book 2, because I like to play it at country dances. So this is an Irish jig. It's called Trip to Athlone, and I learned this from Randall Bays, another great Northwest Irish player. And see y'all at Fiddle Hell. Give it back to you, Dave.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Betsy. Really nice. Of course, it's good to be face to face, but when we're online, we can bring the 2 coasts together, even though you're 3,000 miles away. So that's really nice. Emily Schaad is next. She's a wonderful old-time player who's been known to pick up a fiddle and put it down and pick up a banjo as well. And we're having her for the first time at Fiddle Hell, which is just great. And I noticed that her mom and a couple of friends have signed up, so you're spreading the word. That's great. So Emily, let me turn it over to you.
Thanks, Dave. Really looking forward to my first Fiddle Hell. Betsy, it's great to hear you play. I'm really looking forward to hearing a bunch of folks I've never met before, and some old friends too. I can't believe the number and awesomeness of people that you've compiled for this event. So really excited about it. I have 4 things that I'm doing this weekend, I believe. Or not, I guess it's not this weekend. It feels soon, though. It's coming right up. So one of the events is going to be a performance, I think, with Riley Boggess, who I'm a big Riley Boggess fan, and we played in a band for a while together, so it'll be a little sad not to play together for you. But it'll be fun to trade some songs back and forth. And then I'm going to represent some of the music of some of my mentors that I was lucky enough to sit with and learn tunes from in North Carolina and Kentucky. And so one of those is Benton Flippin, who was a very cool fiddler. He was in the Surrey County in North Carolina in the Round Peak region, and played like nobody else. He had a lot of influences of Some people like to say that he sounds a little bit more on the edge of bluegrass, but to me, he just sounds like himself. And I think he approached the fiddle in a very unique way, because kind of the size of his hands and just kind of his disposition, just figured out his own way to do it. So I'm going to play a tune from Benton. This is a tune I'll do in the workshop. Actually, it's his version of Ricketts hornpipe. Sorry, I just changed my tuning. So Benton liked to tag those tunes, kind of a little interruption in the end of the tune, and we'll talk about that too, which is a signature mark of his style. And then I'll also be doing some tunes from Clyde Davenport. And he was another one I was lucky enough to sit with a bunch. Clyde, we lost Clyde in the last two years ago, I think. And he was a special human, liked to give a person a hard time, but was a real hard worker and a real fiddler, just beautiful, and as he used to say, slick and pretty. I used to be able to play slick and pretty, he say, and just had a tremendous repertoire of tunes that he had picked up from his family and from popular songs and from Leonard Rutherford and Dick Burnett out on the town square in Montgomery town square, I guess it was, in Montgomery County. Yeah, so I think I'll show you a tune of his for the fiddle, and another one that I learned from him on the banjo in those two remaining classes. And I'll just play you a quick little tune of Clyde's to close out.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to have a fine old time at Fiddle Hell. That's great. Incidentally, I think the top 5 styles that people play and teach at Fiddle Hell, we've observed through the years, since this is number 18 for us. Certainly old time, Irish, New England, Scottish and Cape Breton, bluegrass, French Canadian. That's 6, but they're all in the top 5. So, and there's a couple of other styles that we'll put in there. So something for everybody. And we notice when we meet face to face, everybody kind of hangs with their friends and they play their tunes, and then they start hearing this other stuff and they say, whoa, I'm an old-time musician, but this Swedish playing sounds pretty cool. Or I play Irish, but I could try old-time or bluegrass or improvising. So it's a great way to kind of move out and expand a bit, especially with the replays. So one of the things that happened when COVID hit is the bands got smaller because people performed online with the people they were living with or married to or had a way of getting together with in their safe pod. And I'm delighted that people who have been a twosome have changed now to be back to 3 people again. I'm talking about Richie Brown on mandolin and Margaret Gerteis on bass and David Dillon on guitar, who are unmuting themselves as we speak. And I'm pretty sure they're playing in a concert and in a jam, and I will turn it over to them to tell you all about it.
Are we unmuted? Yes, we are. Okay. We're going to be playing on November 6th, on Saturday. We're going to do a mandolin concert, and we're also going to, I think Sharon Gilchrist is actually going to be playing on that. And that's going to be really good because she's a really fine mandolin player. I think Sharon is living in Nashville right now. Am I right? She's I won't say last year, but in the spring she played with Daryl Anger, and it was they did some really nice stuff. We sit and listen to everybody, listen to the whole show. So we're going to do that. We're going to do the second half of that show. We'll do half an hour of mandolin and also some singing, but I'll do some Bill Monroe tunes and maybe even a couple of maybe there's a French Canadian tune I do in B flat, which everyone loves to play in B flat. And let's see, and we'll be playing. Let's see, at 5:30 to 6, we're going to be running a jam session. So there'll be an hour, and we'll do bluegrass, and it'll be an up to tempo, and it'll be fun. We'll have a lot of songs. We won't play anything with more than 4 chords in it. Most of them will have 3 chords, and they will be at moderate to advanced speeds. We won't kill anybody, and we'll just throw out a lot of tunes, and people can, send in requests of tunes they'd like to play. We did that. Margaret and I did that from our upstairs study in the spring, and it was fun, and it worked out really well.
Now
Actually,
we've got a guitar with us. So.
now we have a guitar, which is more fun.
And a third voice.
Okay, we're gonna do a Bill Monroe tune or a little bit of it. This one's called Tombstone Junction. Tune for you. This one's called Summertime Is Past Gone.
Fitting for this time.
This is some singing too. pathway tonight, back to the only one I ever loved. Oh, I know she waits for me back in old Tennessee. We'll stay today from now. Now the moon is shining bright, it lights my pathway tonight, back to the only one I ever loved. Summertime is past and gone, and I'm on my way back home to see the only one I ever loved. Now the moon is shining bright, it lights my pathway tonight, back to the only one I ever loved. Now the moon is shining bright, it lights my pathway tonight, back to the only one I ever loved.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are we out of minutes? Or?
Yeah, we are,
I think we are.
I think that was great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
A nice contrast. Again, that's one of the nice things about Fiddle Hell, different styles, different opportunities. And it's great to have you three playing together again. It's wonderful. So I'd like to move us along to the next pair, in this case, Judy Hyman and Jeff Claus, who have been to Fiddle Hell in person several times. And they've been to Fiddle Hell Online. I guess this is the third time in a row, and we're always happy to have them. I turn it right over to you.
Thank you, Dave. I have to say, both ways of doing it seem to work. It's really exciting when we're all in person and there are hundreds of fiddle players and there's all this energy in the room. But it's also really a lot of fun doing this online. There's a social component on Whova, and I've actually connected with people I hadn't seen in a long time, and that was really fun. And one of the best parts is that when you're jamming, nobody can hear you. You can try anything, which is really a lot of fun. So Jeff and I are going to do a few things at Fiddle Hell. One of the things we're going to do is I'm going to teach a tune in standard, which will be in the key of G because I've been fixed on the key of G lately. And I'll teach it, lots of detail. Pick up whatever you can, whatever you don't pick up at the moment. It's there for you for 4 months. And I'll be teaching it at a level 3, which is a high-level intermediate, but that shouldn't daunt other people from coming to these things. And then at the end, I'll play it with Jeff for a bit, and you can play along. We'll play at a kind of a modest tempo. So I thought we would start now by playing a G tune, not necessarily the one I'm going to teach, but something in that zone. This is called Lonesome Honey, and it's from the playing of a guy named John Hanna, who's a fiddle player who was born in West Virginia, but he spent most of his adult life in Ohio near Columbus, and he was recorded by Jeff Gehring, who was a wonderful fiddle player himself, who recorded a bunch of people in Ohio. another workshop we're going to be doing, and we'll do the same kind of format where I'll teach the tune and then Jeff will join us on banjo uke at the end. I'm going to be teaching a Marcus Martin tune called Jenny Ran Away in the Mud in the Night. And it's a wonderful tune that really is very suited to the level 2 that I'll be teaching it at. But again, maybe people at other levels would really enjoy it because I'll go into some of the detail about bowings and we'll have a lot of fun with it. And Marcus Martin, who was from Western North Carolina, I realized today is the source of a tune that a lot of people play that's in the Fiddle Hell list, which is Shove That Pig's Foot into the Fire. And something interesting I found out about that tune today is that he actually played it in cross key. This is something I didn't know before because we all play it, at least I do, out of the key of G, out of standard. So I thought that was interesting. He played a lot out of tunings. And so this tune, Jenny Run Away in the Mud in the Night, is in the key of A in cross key A tuning, which is a lot of fun to play in because you can play the same thing on the top as the bottom. But we're not going to play that for you right now. We're going to play a tune called Garfield. So Jeff and I are also going to lead an old time jam. And I think we're going to play at a fairly modest tempo, maybe a tempo like what we've just been doing. And it's rated at a level 3 to 4, but I like to play them a little bit, not quite totally up to tempo, so that if I'm playing tunes, which I hope I am, that you might not know, you're able to pick them up. Did you have something you want to add to that?
No, just that.
Okay.
This is Fiddle Hell, not banjo ukulele hell, which is a real thing, unlike this festival. Too many banjo ukes, you got banjo uke hell for sure. Anyhow, I love Fiddle Hell. It's really fun, and glad to be participating. Thanks. Looking forward to the jam and all this other stuff too.
And then last but not least, we'll play a short set in the concert on Saturday evening. So thank you, Dave, for having us back. We love it.
I love you too. It's great to have you back. And we'll start thinking ahead to next year. By the way, just as a reminder for the folks listening to this, whether it's now or in the future, folks, April 7th through 10th of next year, we're online again. November 3rd through 6th of 2022, we are face-to-face. I signed the contract with the hotel, so we'll be in Westford, Massachusetts. Maybe a few limitations on things at that point, but we'll be back together. And from that point on, the hope is to do one face-to-face in November and one online in April every year. And that's, I think, a good idea. So Tina Pilione is here. She's here in person and also on video. She's representing a really nice link to an old style of Cajun fiddling that she learned and will be teaching at Fiddle Hell. So I'll ask her if she wants to say anything kind of before the video and then play you the video, and then that'll pretty much wrap it up for today, and we'll all go off and start getting ready for Fiddle Hell. So let me just turn it over to you, Tina.
Oh, Dave, go ahead and play the video and then I'll say a few words.
Okay, give me a moment and I will do just that. Just trying to share my screen. Almost there.
I'm Tina Pilione, coming to you from Richard, Louisiana. I'll be teaching this tune that I just played, that I learned from the playing of Rodney Fontenot. This tune, Rodney didn't know the name of it, and I'd never heard anyone play it before, so we just called it Rodney's Breakdown. The tuning that we're going to be using is a little bit different than standard. I usually play in standard tuning, especially if I'm playing with someone who switches between a C and a D accordion. Because I don't like to change fiddles, I'd rather just change my position on the fiddle. And I strongly urge you, if you're a beginner playing Cajun music, I'd strongly urge you to learn in standard tuning and learn all the positions. The most important ones are C and G, and D and A, and F, which is pretty similar to C. And okay, so the tuning that we're going to be using, the old timers, a lot of them like to play in this tuning. The normal tune down tuning for Cajun music is you take all the strings, E, A, D, G being standard, and tune all of them down a whole step. We're going to do something a little bit different, but the E string we're going to tune to D, the A string will be tuned to G, the D string will be tuned to C, and we're going to keep the G string the same. This gives the fiddle a really nice ring. When you hit the G string second, it really makes the violin ring. I think that's one reason they really liked it. And so anyway, if you're going to come to the workshop, try to get your fiddle in this tuning. Again, it's D, G, C, and G. And if we have time, I'll try to show you one of Rodney's beautiful waltzes that he played. In addition to the little workshop, I'll be doing a concert with my friend Lisa Trahan, who will be backing me up with guitar. In the concert, we'll mostly be presenting the repertoire, tunes from the repertoires of Dennis McGee and Wade Frugier. So I hope y'all can make it to the workshop, concert, or both. Hope to see you then.
Whew. I hate to see myself and hear myself. Anyway, I'm really honored to be part of this group of keepers of traditions. I really admire all of you for all your life's work and proud to be a part of it. Anyway, just a little bit about how I got to that point. I grew up in the San Francisco East Bay area and got connected to the San Francisco Folk Music Club that I would go to when I was still in high school, and I made it to the basement where they played old time string band music. So I started learning old time music on the mandolin, and then shortly after that I moved to Seattle in about 1976, and then in 1978, we're there, I had an old time band, played in old time and bluegrass bands and square dance bands. And then in 1978, a group of Cajuns came up. It was Mark Savoy and Dewey and Rodney Balfa. And they shared a concert with Bill Monroe. And so I was in the audience, and it just blew my mind. And so I just finally got here in '81 for a short visit, and then went home. And every morning when I'd wake up, I'd think, how can I get back to Louisiana? I've got to get back there and figure out what it is about these people that makes this music so amazing. So anyway, I landed in Louisiana to live in 1983, and landed at the Savoy Music Center, where Mark Savoy builds these Cajun accordions. And so after I finished college in Lafayette, I came back to the music center, and Mark needed a hand in the shop. So I started building Cajun accordions, and all these it was the hotbed of old time Cajun musicians. And so I've met Wade Frugier and Dennis McGee, and I got to play with them. I got to go to their homes and play, jam, and lots of parties, house parties. And so they were my main mentors. And also, because I was right there, all the musicians would, if they needed a musician to fill in, if they needed a fiddler, they'd call Mark. And so as a result, I got to play with all these wonderful bands in the old time dance halls for about 20 years or so. There's hardly any of them left anymore. It's more, the music is more in restaurants now, which I do play with the band in restaurants, rhythm guitar and some other bands, but for the most part, the dance hall scene is gone. But I feel so fortunate that I was able to experience that. And I've done a whole bunch of live recordings of bands that I hope to put more out in the future. But the first one I did was, well, first of all, Rodney Fontenot. I met him at the music store. He showed up one day. And so we had to record him. Since I'd been studying with Dennis McGee and Dennis McGee's music, when he came in the store, he got out his fiddle, which was tuned about a step and a half below tuned down tuning, and played Madame Young exactly like the early recordings of Dennis McGee. And so I just could play with him. And it was just, I was wondering, like, why am I learning how to do this? Nobody plays this music anymore. And here he walks in. So anyway, him, and then I did a bunch of live recordings of Maurice Bearzaw and the original Mamou Playboys, and made a 2 CD set of a live recording at this old dance hall in Ville Platte. So anyway, I've just spent my life kind of trying to absorb as much as I can of this beautiful old music that you can hardly hear anymore. The music has changed so much. So anyway, I'm really proud to be a part of presenting some traditional music. And thanks, Dave, for inviting me.
We're really happy to have you there, Tina. And I think you said some important things, which really I heard from everybody who you've heard on this video today, and that's connecting with other musicians, absorbing what they're doing, not just playing a tune, but telling a story from a tune and repeating it and amplifying the story and changing it a bit. And what happens in the workshops and what you get in the jams and the concerts at Fiddle Hell, I think is a real connection, especially in these times when we're all a bit isolated because of the pandemic. It's a nice thing to have, to be able to connect, to see some of your friends, to have front row seats for the concerts. So again, thanks so much for joining us today. Betsy Branch, Emily Schaad, Richie Brown, Margaret Gerteis, Dave Dillon, Judy Hyman, Jeff Claus, and Tina Pilione. We've got a couple other previews that are on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/fiddlehell. And you've got 11 days to get all psyched. Don't wait to get on Whova. There's a couple videos you can see there, and you can explore the exhibits and put things on my agenda so that you're kind of planning ahead for them. But don't worry, if you miss something live in the 4 days, you got 4 months to replay it. Let your friends know about it. Thanks to everybody for coming, and we'll see you at Fiddle Hell Online, November 4th through 7th.